The power companies are telling us the damage this storm did to their lines was unprecedented. We have live team coverage tonight for you as our crews are spread all across the area. They're tracking the city and county's response as well. And they're also doing something important. They're looking at each current situation in all of the neighborhoods throughout Western Pennsylvania, not just in Allegheny County, and some of the hardest hit neighborhoods. Up first tonight, talking about the weather and what we're facing tonight and into tomorrow. We're going to check in now with Chief Meteorologist Mike Harvey. Mike, we're not just in the clear just yet, right?
We are not. Now today we have the blue skies out there. So for today, overnight, and into the first half of tomorrow, we're in pretty good shape. Then we get into the second half of tomorrow, and then that is when we are going to be seeing the potential for some more thunderstorms moving into the area because it is an impact day. The timing of those thunderstorms moving in between 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night. Areas in yellow where you'll have the best chance of seeing a strong to severe thunderstorm moving into the area. And that's just about everybody in Western Pennsylvania on Thursday. Here's how to look in the morning. Not too bad, maybe an isolated shower or two. That is it. They'll start to build up as we get towards 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And by the time we get to the evening commute, we will have some thunderstorms in the area, as you can see. And with these, you'll have some heavy rain, be fairly brief, but some heavy rain, possibly some strong wind gusts as well as these move through your area. So it could be a little bit difficult for the evening commute as you go home tomorrow night. Temperature wise, we're going to see highs that will be reaching around 80, 81 degrees. You see at 1 o'clock, it'll be 77 degrees, and we'll have those showers and thunderstorms that will be building up as we head towards that second half of the day. We'll have more on the rest of the week's forecast and what you can expect for the weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you. Right now, a state of emergency is declared in Allegheny County. Governor Josh Shapiro traveling from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh to see the damage firsthand, calling the severe storm unprecedented. Take a listen.
We know that there are numerous people out there who are still inconvenienced, and I want you to know that you've got a team working diligently to get the power back on as quickly as possible. Finally, speaking of teams, we govern in our administration as a team. And my right hand, my partner in that, is no stranger to all of you.
The governor was joined by Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, Mayor Ed Gainey, and County Executive Sarah Innamorato. The governor thanked the team at Allegheny County Emergency Services, stressing the importance of those workers and working together. Also at the news conference, Duquesne Light with an update on the massive power outage.
The folks who are partnering with us very closely to make sure that we are restoring power as quickly and as safely as possible. Those are our two #1 priorities. At some point, we'll get to a place where we look at how do we invest differently in the system to harden it, to make it much more resilient towards this kind of weather that we see more often. But #1 priorities are safety and then the restoration.
400 additional crews have been called to aid Duquesne Light. As we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, there are 2 reported deaths in Allegheny County. One victim killed by a falling tree, another electrocuted by live wires. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Keely Gunderson is talking to people connected to both of the victims.
We now know 59-year-old David Lipinski is the man who was electrocuted in Pittsburgh's Southside Slopes neighborhood yesterday evening. And here in Ross Township, police identifying the man killed as 67-year-old Raymond Gordon. Police say he was working outside of his home when he was heading back inside on his deck when he was hit by a falling tree.
Just feel the loss right away.
Paul and Leslie Budnarchuk stunned by the loss of their neighbor, learning of his sudden death during Tuesday evening's storm.
It's just such a shame that probably between the sound of the wind and the rain, he probably had no sense that anything was going to happen.
Yeah, Ray was a great guy. He was very kind, very nice.
Really helpful.
Real sweet.
Left wondering if the sound of their own trees snapping and falling on their home might have been a distraction to their neighbor. The storm uprooting 2 trees that fell on their roof and porch. And in Pittsburgh's Southside Slopes, Pittsburgh police said a man was electrocuted here on St. Martin Street. Neighbor Christopher Miller says police and fire crews responded to fallen live wires and marked the area with caution tape, but had to leave for other emergencies while they waited for the power company to respond. During that time, Miller said the man attempted to move the flaming live wire.
But there was like so much flames coming off the wire when it was down. So I guess he was worried about his truck getting damaged or even catching on fire. Tried to move the wire and got electrocuted.
He and other neighbors rushed over to try to help, Miller taking a fire extinguisher, but neighbors quickly realizing the man was already dead.
The cop was crying, because he felt so bad. There's nothing you can do. Paramedic came, nothing you can do. You couldn't walk over and do anything. All you can hear was the electric.
We'll keep you updated as we learn any new details about both men killed. Reporting in Ross Township, Kaylee Gunderson, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
All right, Kaylee, in Greene County, a community there is in mourning. One person was killed when a tree fell on their car. It happened last night during the storm on Jefferson Road in Franklin Township. Police say the passenger, Andrew Salachi, died in the car. The driver was not hurt. And the Center County coroner says 22-year-old Bryce Lohman of Chambersburg was killed last night near State College. They say that Lohman was electrocuted while trying to put out a small mulch fire near the Residence Inn where he worked. They say power went from a nearby line through a utility pole and into the ground near where he was standing. Investigators say they believe the mulch fire was related to the storms that moved through the area yesterday. Officers say he was pronounced dead at the scene, and they do not believe he is a Penn State student. An autopsy will be performed tomorrow. Hundreds of thousands of customers are still without their power leading into night 2 of the event. Duquesne Light and West Penn Power crews are working around the clock to get all of the power restored. Tonight, Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Paul Van Osdol is tracking the widespread outages as officials say it could take several days to get to every customer.
You can see here behind me where a large tree came down and knocked down that power line. It's a scene that's been repeated throughout the region. Power company officials saying this storm is one of the worst they've seen in decades.
We did put ourselves in a position of strength to respond to the storm, but as is the case, it was more impactful than I believe the forecast predicted.
About 40% of all Duquesne Light customers lost power yesterday. As of this morning, power is restored to about 40,000 customers, leaving more than 200,000 in the dark. First Energy says about 130,000 of their customers are still without power, nearly half of those in Westmoreland County. Duquesne Light says it will take 5 to 7 days for all their customers to get their power back, and it could be even longer with a mild storm tomorrow. They're getting help from nearly 500 outside crews who should all be on scene by tomorrow. First Energy says they're getting several thousand outside workers to assist. Some people who lost power are worried about also losing food.
It's not going to last. It's not going to last. This is like the apocalypse.
Utility company officials warning that scenes like this are dangerous, and down power lines, even if they don't look hot, they could still be energized. They're warning people to stay away from them and keep their children away from them. Reporting from Churchill, Paul Van Osdol, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
And when there is a power outage in your neighborhood, traffic lights are also impacted. So when the traffic lights are out, a reminder to treat the intersection as a four-way stop. Come to a complete stop before entering the intersection and yield the right-of-way to the drivers who have arrived first or drivers who are on your right-hand side, and always proceed with caution. No evidence of a tornado. That's the word we've received today from the meteorologists with the National Weather Service out to survey our area, but they caution us not to be misled by that. What happened yesterday, they said, could be even considered worse than a tornado because the wind speeds were just as strong. And the path of the storm was much bigger than a tornado would have been.
This is something you might see every 3 to 5 years, or maybe even 10 years on the more severe end. So it definitely was an event to remember based on the amount of damage and the widespread impact it had.
The NWS says the storm had gusts of up to 95 miles an hour, making the straight line winds just as powerful as an EF0 tornado. Our severe weather team coverage continues. Reporter Carlos Flores now takes us to Ross Township, Allegheny County, where homeowners spent all day cleaning up the debris.
Now, we are here on Park Place and Fox Drive in Ross Township, one of the many areas that are still feeling the ripple effects of yesterday's storm. I'm going to step out of the way. You can take a look at exactly what we are seeing with now. We've heard multiple people in this neighborhood are currently stuck behind these down power lines and trees as they're waiting for power crews to come out here and assess any of the damages and make sure it's actually safe for them to cut down these trees so they can get out. But as of right now, a lot of folks are stuck behind there, and we've heard other neighbors from around Ross Township coming to help them out. out, giving them food, giving them ice, or helping them get to work if they need to get to work. But honestly, it's a lot of frustration. One of the many stories we are hearing across the area as we are still working to feel the ripple effects of yesterday's storm. Now, this is something we'll continue to follow right here and online at WTAE.com. Reporting in Ross Township, Carlos Flores, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Carlos, thanks. Now to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Chandy Chapman, who brings us the latest from crews in Monroeville, where traffic light outages and live wires are causing some major disruptions.
There are many businesses in Monroeville that do not have power. I talked to the owner of Patel Brothers, and he says his business doesn't have service right now. And if you walk over here, you could see that the parking lot of Olive Garden is empty. Another business without power. Many Monroeville businesses shut down because of the severe weather. The Gateway School District has decided to cancel classes for students too, leaving kids home from school. Take a look at this bleacher flipped over near Gateway High School. The few businesses along William Penn Highway, especially restaurants and gas stations that are open, are packed with people waiting in line. Josiah Smith has a 2-year-old, so it's been challenging taking care of a toddler without power, but the family is making the best of it.
When we were coming home, you just see the damage with all the trees just on the power lines, and it was a pretty rough scene.
I talked to several people who live nearby, like in Churchill or Turtle Creek. They say they're traveling to Monroeville to try to get something to eat from the businesses that do have power. Reporting in Monroeville, Chandy Chapman, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Well, if you have trees down in your yard, experts say you should contact your insurance agent as soon as possible. They say you also want to document all the damage with photos and videos of your property and timestamp them. Make sure you try to avoid any additional damage by covering any areas where water can get into your property. Also, they say always keep receipts for any repairs. Our main goal here at Pittsburgh's Action News 4 is to keep you and your family safe and informed during these kinds of days. That's why our top story on the WTAE app and WTAE.com is constantly updating with the latest information on the continued impact of yesterday's destructive storms. That includes the latest on power outages across our region and important messages from elected leaders as the cleanup continues.